and I'm from the York Region Food Network, and we are partnering with the Aurora Public Library to bring you What's for Dinner. What's for dinner, you ask? Well, every Thursday we are going to release one video with some really fun dinner ideas. This week's topic is, ready? Skillet dinners. So today I'm going to prepare for you a lasagna skillet dinner. Today we're going to use lentils and we're going to make it a vegetarian version. This is a really quick and easy meal and your kids are absolutely going to love it. Okay, so first up what I have here is some onions, carrots, and celery. I have some garlic. I have some oregano and basil and a little bit of nutritional yeast. I'll come back and tell you about that in a little bit. Then I have some lentils, some cooked brown lentils. I have some tomato sauce as well as just some canned tomatoes, some vegetable stock, some lasagna noodles, some mozzarella cheese, and of course salt, pepper, and some olive oil to get it going. Okay, let's get started. So for this dish, we're gonna start with our onion, carrot, and celery. So I'm gonna turn my pan on, get it nice and hot. Once it's hot, I will add our oil. And then I'm going to saute just lightly our onion, carrot, and celery together. Okay, so our pan feels nice and hot. Oh, and it is. So how you can tell is how the oil is just moving so liquidy onto the pan. Then I'm going to throw in my onion, carrot, and celery. And I have my temperature at medium heat. I don't really want to get too much color on this, but what I want it to do is get nice and translucent, release all the flavors. So I'm just going to cook these vegetables together for about 5 to 7 minutes. All right, so you can see our vegetables have cooked out nicely. They got a nice sheen to them. They're getting nice and soft. So now I'm going to add some garlic to the pan as well as our spices. So in here I have some oregano and some basil, some dried oregano and some dried basil. This is really nice combination. It's going to add that sort of like pasta nice flavor to it. So that's good. And so here's my secret ingredient that I like to use. So I mentioned before, this is just a nutritional yeast. So I'm going to add that in there. Now if you don't have it or it's not something you commonly use, I wouldn't recommend or like you can, but if you don't have it, you don't need to go out and look for it and to buy it. I like to use it because it adds a really, like it just kind of pulls the flavors together and it adds like a little umami flavor to your dish. So that's why I like to use it. You don't, it tastes a little bit cheesy. What it is a vegan version, like, sorry. So what it is a deactivated yeast. And so vegans often use it because it's fortified with B12, adds a cheesy flavor, and then B12 is a vitamin that you can usually only get with meat. And so this way, it's a way of just adding it to the diet without having to do supplements or anything like that. And then it just adds a really rich umami kind of flavor. So I'm just gonna continue to cook this out for another minute, and then we're gonna be ready to add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so I have all that in there. So I have my onion, my garlic, my celery, I have my herbs, the nutritional yeast, if you're adding it. If you're not, just skip it. It is really yummy and I kind of tend to put it on lots of things. So at this point here, I'm gonna add the lentils. So these are just cooked brown lentils. You can either get them in a can or you can pre-cook them. And now I'm also gonna add, this is our crushed tomatoes. That's gonna go in here, along with whatever pasta sauce that you enjoy. You can add that pasta sauce as well. So this one, I'm just gonna add that in. It's just a commercial one, or if you make your own, that's great too. So we're gonna just add that in, give it a stir. Next, our stock. So this is gonna, all our ingredients are gonna go in here, including our lasagna noodles. Okay, and then it's just gonna come up to a boil, and then I'll turn it down and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So to make this dish, all you need is some regular lasagna noodles, and so I have some here, whatever brand you like, and then you're just gonna break them into smaller pieces. so that it fits in the skillet and that it cooks a little bit faster. So I'm going to just kind of break it up into smaller pieces. All right, and you need about 9 lasagna sheets, so it's almost a full box. If you just do a little bit more, then you can use up the whole box. There's always not quite the right amount. So there's usually about 12 lasagna noodles in a box. So you can always just put the 12 and then add a little bit more of the liquid ingredients. Okay, we're ready to go in. Okay, so all you're gonna do is just add the lasagna noodles right into the skillet. So like this, make sure that they get submerged. And it's all gonna cook together so nicely. I'll give it a stir so that all the noodles are covered. And we're gonna put a lid on it and then just let it simmer till the noodles are cooked for about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. I'm ready to take a peek and let's see how it's doing. Okay, so come on over. Look at that. That looks amazing. So you can see the noodles are all cooked. It's nice and saucy. Oh my goodness. That looks absolutely amazing. So right here at this point, what I'll do is I'll give it a taste and see if we need to add any more salt and pepper. And if we need to add some, we'll just let it simmer for, if we do need to add some salt and pepper, we'll just let it simmer for another 2-3 minutes so those flavors can develop. And I'm just gonna add a little pinch of salt, maybe a pinch and a half. And then some pepper. If you find, here's a little tip. If you find your tomatoes are a little bit tangy, like a little too acidic, if you add some fresh black pepper, it helps to balance that tangy flavor of the tomatoes. And then just give it a stir. All right. And then right here, it smells amazing. So the kids are just gonna love this. It's just much faster than making a traditional lasagna, but you get all the goodness and all the flavor. So I'm gonna give it one more taste just to make sure that we got everything. That's much better. Okay, I'll let it simmer for a minute, just to let the flavors develop, and then we're gonna come back and add the cheese. Okay, so it's been simmering. I just turned it off. I'm gonna add our cheese. This is just grated mozzarella cheese. We're gonna put that in there. Now, to serve it, you can just leave the cheese on top, or you can save some cheese to go on your individual portions and then stir this one in. I usually like to stir it in, that way every bite has a little bit of cheesy goodness. So it calls for mozzarella cheese, but I find that this recipe is really nice with goat cheese as well. So, oh, look at that. That looks absolutely amazing. So a little goat cheese is nice. If you want to add extra greens into your meals, sometimes I take some spinach and just right at this point here, take a handful of baby spinach or 2 and just stir it in. And that helps to add some greens and it makes it look much prettier as well. Okay, so here we go. We're ready to plate this up. So you can just take that, portion out individual portions. Again, let the kids take their own portion size because they'll take as much as they're gonna eat. Oh, that looks spectacular. Okay, and then I have a couple pieces of garlic toast here. I'll just stick that beside. Oh my goodness, and then just look at that. So add some comments, make the dish, send a photo, tag us, and I look forward to cooking with you again next week.